Alrighty, what's up guys? We got the area 3 of the tutorial starting up right now. So right after the cutscene is over, you would manage through the box and all, and you would get back to EGAD here. And you'd want to click Hidden Mansion again. Walk right up through here. And we have a door to get through at the upper left part of this floor. It is locked off. Alright, so we need water for a part that we'll explain later, but you need the water for a door that you're going to need it for later. In the meantime, you need to go down that well. So we're going to get the water from this well. We get it and go down here at the same time. You want to fall down here, because typically you would just walk down here and you would end up on the ladder, and you don't want to do that though, it's very slow. Don't go all the way down the ladder. So after you get the water, just like hold either L or R, whatever activation of the vacuum you want to do, and you can fall right down the hole. Yeah, it's way better to do that, obviously. If you get in that situation where you accidentally hit a wrong input, which happens to all of us, and you accidentally are going down the ladder, you can mash A and you'll fall down. So, whichever situation you're in, you have a situation to work with. But yeah, let's just show the entire movement here. It's pretty simple. You probably got it already, but we have water. May get locked onto that guy if you use there. Hey, you want to go down here, you can do L or R, doesn't matter. And then get yourself into this cutscene. And you'll see Mario. It's kind of a sad story. Oh no, is he gonna die? Alright, so after this cutscene, you have this ghost, you just suck him up from the ceiling, and that activates the key. I want to grab the key, obviously, and then I want to go directly up the ladder. I have no other options, so you gotta go up the ladder. And you need this mailbox here, so we're going to grab this mailbox. I'm gonna hit it and then do this. And try to keep yourself faced toward the upper wall so you don't, like, get scared by this guy over here. And then you have to do the water while turning left like I did in order to avoid the scare. Otherwise, you will get scared. On either going there or one of the two. Like sometimes you'll just get scared there, which isn't that bad of a time loss because you just get scared while you're waiting for the thing to drop anyway. Too many of you. Dude, stop. I'm trying to explain things. Anyway, yeah, you hit this, you get the little key, and then you would be here. And then you would water all the way around like I did the first time. And then you would go over here. And walk through this door. You don't need Biff in this category. All you need is this key, which is, there's a shortcut. It's basically a shortcut key. It's not a required key for this game, but it's a shortcut key that takes you through the door that's only like right through here to the left. It unlocks this door, which if you didn't have that key, you would have to walk all the way around the courtyard to get back to the other side of that floor of Area 1 again. So it's like a little bit of a shortcut. And we do need the key, we just don't need Biff, so we can just walk around through here. An easy way to do this without like missing the treadmill, like if you get one of those situations where you're doing this and you're like missing the treadmill, or you're walking over the treadmill, you're not quite on the treadmill or something like that, like, you know what I mean? From the door, if you line up with the punching bags, they'll even push you into it. See, if I'm not lined up, it'll push me into the correct spot too. You just line yourself up with the punching bags and you'll end up right directly on it. Right in between the punching bags. Biff will not hit you, believe it or not. Just remember your flashlight skips. And then we have D. This is what you need the water for. You go through here, and there is a door at the top of this. There you would need the water. And you can do a cool little skip here where you can like throw it up in the air below it, where the door hitbox is. And it will cancel you having to wait for it. Like if I have some water right here, I gotta wait until the smoke clears, right? But if you aim for like if you aim for this upper hitbox and shoot water up it, you hear the noise there? During this entire time that I'm walking up here, I'm gonna be gone by the time I get up here and then I can walk right through the door. That saves you some time. The hitbox for this is kind of funky in the way it works then. It's kind of, can't respawn it that way clearly. It's more right of that door than it is left, what I think is the right way to put it. Oh, that worked too. I don't know, where is this inbox not at? Like, do you don't want to go too far up or something? Maybe you don't want to go too far down. You kind of have like, I guess it's more of an up. Yeah. So you want to make sure you actually get to the ceiling. Like around to where the, like the corner of the ceiling and the side wall meets up there. Something like that, maybe a little bit more on the ceiling. You don't want to be too low or too high there, just hitting the ceiling or just hitting the side wall. You want to be like in between it. And basically you have about the entire width of a door to hit. And basically, if you get a little bit too far, most people won't get like over here, most likely. But you may. That would be too far left. Or you end up like way over here. Something like that actually still works. I think it's a little bit more right of a hitbox than it is left. But anyway, you kind of get the idea. Just keep it in between the two sections. And then we go on up here and go on to the next section. We have to go through this door next, so it's important to do that. Especially, it's very important to not run out of water there. You don't know if you run out of it and go out of bounds. But 100% sometimes is a problem. So anyway, we have this next door. And there is a ghost in the right and the left. Let's see if I can get this, if there's anything simple I can do, if we should just do ceiling ghost here. Yeah, that plate's gonna be in the way, that's not really helping. Unless you just like... Yeah, I think we're just gonna try to do it that way. I mean, you could just like... No, you wouldn't want to get grabbed. So anyway, the ceiling ghost sketch, you have to get yourself up, lined up, and you're up here on the ceiling. And if you're pointed directly as far down as you can, because you're now pointed from the ceiling, so you're pointed back down. If you have the flashlight pointed back up for the Luigi as far as you can, then you can get the ghost if you're right under him from the ceiling still. And you can grab it and get it. The plate becomes a problem there sometimes. I typically like to do this over this. I know some people do this, which also works. I like this because it's easier in the fact of like you go right straight up and then you want to be like a little bit You want to aim a little bit away from where the plate is, a little bit to the left, and that's how you can get that. Because occasionally if you go like a little bit left of that, you'll do that, or get hit by the plate or something, or you miss the ghost or something. Anyway, you want to go back to this other flip pad and flip down, and the other ghost will end up on here, and you want to catch this guy on the table. You don't want to fall off it, you want to make sure you stay on the table. And try not to get hit by the plate either and just spawn them, because then you may have to get off the table to go find them. In that case, you would just go back around the flip pads. It's not that big of a deal, but it's a thing just to keep aware of. And you want to be here so you can open this chest right away. Open the chest, and then you will have a text box. Also, one of the funnest rooms to read in the game, legit. Boo almost always moves in this room, as you see he did there, before the text is over. There's different spawn points. One is in this box over here, and every single chair in this room. And then this bucket that's right there. And then this bucket is also one, so the 2 buckets, the 4 chairs on each room, and that's about, let's see, like 11 different spawns. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? But I mean, if you're on the table, you can obviously like check. Let me get back on the table. You can like check these stuff depending on what's red when you get next to it, like I was there, which apparently I think it was here. And if not, you can, it's better to go right because there's more options to the right than there is to the left, and it makes sense, and the left is typically the bad RNG, so what you do is you like go straight for the bucket where the ice is, which is where you just unlocked, and get the ice while trying to get this boo. And you kind of just use the vacuum to get all the spots at once. You'll have to aim a little bit. You won't get all the spots most of the time. You'll miss at least one. But you can get like, aim a little bit up left for this one if you need to, and aim a little bit right left for this one. Yeah, I spawned all those over there. As you get a feel for it, you'll know what spot it is, you'll know where to aim. But if he's not over there, then you want to come back over here and hit this. And if he's in this spot, he'll spawn right there, and you'll get locked in there, and you have to suck him up from there. It's just a little thing to keep in mind. Alright, so we exit this room for the next part, and we go to the left, and we go to Petunia. We just need to keep going left, and make sure that you're, when you're in this part of the hallway, that you turn around, because these guys in the middle will spawn if you just go that way like that, basically. So you need to have like some type of like alternative you can do. Some people, they have the meme of doing the ice thing, which doesn't spawn. Works as well. Or you can just turn around. Basically how I learned to remember it is, you can see I turn around where the 2 vases are. I start turning at the first vase and I stop finishing my turn at the second vase. First vase, start, second vase, over. See that? That's what we do there. That's how we avoid that. And then when we get to this point, we get to Petunia. And all you have to do for her is use this in a tub. You just have to use the ice that you've acquired, which is one of the reasons why you definitely need ice in the ice room. Don't forget it. You just need to take the shower curtain away and then ice her. And she will show her heart, and then you just need to vacuum her into the vacuum. And just progress yourself back to the key like usual and get the key. And get yourself back to the right. And we'll do Nana next. Just right over here. The Petunia was pretty self-explanatory, so whoa, how did I not blow up from that guy? So Nana, what you need to do is you need to, in order for her to show her heart, you have to hit her with her own yarn balls that are right here, all 3 of them. In order to do that, you have to hit it, and then pick them up. and then hit each one with it. Hit each ball. Hit her with each ball, there we go. And after the third ball, she'll just show her heart. There's a way I can explain that a little bit better on actually how to do it. Kind of want to like back away a little bit and then get the ball. And then get this one. And then get this one. For like a beginner standpoint, make sure your vacuum is down. So that you actually pick up the ball. And you don't have like one of those animations where you like suck it up but you end up see if I can do this like that, where you like stuff into it always to make sure that it's on the ground, because if you do that the wrong way really badly, you'll accidentally like shoot it with a Luigi, and Nana will laugh at you if you miss and you have to exit the room and re-enter to do it again. So always back up for a starting point and just make sure the vacuum is down. And keep yourself over here for a start on the boo. The boo, this is one of the largest rooms in the game, so the boo spawns can be bad. You have the wheel, the table, and this cabinet, and this sewing table are the only 4 places that the boo can be, and you can't be in any of the chairs or anything like that. So initially you would hit this if there was something in it. Obviously there's not, because we just, if you noticed from before, he switched and there's something in there, so there's nothing in there. If you get to that point, and there's not a boo in there, I would go ahead and just get the key, and then progress yourself like to the table, and hit it if there's something in it. If not, just go over here, and then afterwards go get the key, while the boo is spawning. If that makes sense. If he does one of these things where he goes back over here, you can get the key when he comes back over here too. Just remember your vacuum cancels always help here. And these boos are getting stronger, so the boo strat is very important to note. Let's see if we can get that transition again. We'll read this. Put it into the table, and we check right there. You got the key, and you can wait for him. If not, you can go right and then do it that way as well. And then just grab the key on the way back. Okay, we could save after that. Get ourselves. In fact, I should just go through the hallway. Same idea here. You do need the fire that's in between the 2 sections here, so you have to like keep like a tight wall. Your fire is right in that light, and you see how there's like 45 mice and a bunch of things that can scare you. I just want to keep like a tight wall. And do it, you can do it a bunch of different ways. I like to try to keep like a tight wall when I do it. See, some people use element. Let's see if element helps. You can probably use element. You want to try to like work with and try to avoid the auto lock-ons basically, because it's auto lock-ons to everything before the fire, because the fire is not already spawned. So yeah, that's a good example. Maybe just keep it really high for good standpoints. And stay close to the wall and just pay attention to the mice on the floor. And get the fire and go back this way. And this is the next door we need to go to, Astral Hall. Get the water break. That's alright, we have Astral Hall. In order to spawn this room in general, you have to like light all the candles. Basically, that's why we need fire. You go through this door, nothing happens, you just go back through the other door on the other side, which is really weird, but you do. For whatever reason. So the best thing to do here typically is to fire them left to right. That way you can line yourself up for the double that happens next. So you kind of just want to fire them around. And then push yourself back upright, and you'll end up right straight up. Right in there. Let me actually try this again. Just remember the hitboxes for the candles. Typically higher is better than lower. It's easy to miss them low because you're not actually aiming where the candles are. It's like a really fast version. You can just at least like go around and make sure you get them like that and go around in like a way. Something like that. Whatever is comfortable for you at first. Then you have these two ghosts. They will spawn. The Shy Guy will spawn up left, and the Orange Ghost will spawn at the bottom right. You need to try to manipulate the double by taking the mask off the Shy Guy while the Orange Guy is coming to you, and then turning around to get the double in the upper corners. Like I did there. And then you're gonna get the same thing again. And then for like beginner purposes, just get a single and a double. It's not even really that much slower. Almost not even slower. Oh damn, don't be like me. But yeah, we'll show it again. If you're a little scared of like leading the other guy there, just go to the Shy Guy as fast as you can, wait and turn around. I know that's a little sketchy. It's better to wait a little bit. Or lead him in a little bit. It's better to like let him come in a little bit. Because you have to remember the puncher has like a long hitbox, so or a long hitbox, a long punching animation. It takes him a while to actually do like stuff like that. Alright, so after you get in the double, you always like going to a spawn point of where a boo could be. This is another pretty interesting one because there's spawns in 2 left cabinets, and there's spawns in every single torch. Which makes it quite an interesting read. Typically I try to go from one of these 2 first. And I kind of like lead my way from one to the other. But, you know, just find a spot and try to find the next one. And then just remember the boo strat. Just make sure you're keeping your spacing not too far and not too close, and keeping the vacuum at the right angle. So that you're not like losing this boo. That's a pretty typical one for beginners to lose this boo. And then there's the moonshot. I guess I should do the cutscene first. You get a flashlight skip here, and then you want to just press A on the telescope here. And you will get a cutscene. You can also do a flashlight skip there, but there's balls that fall to the ground here, as you can see. And we have to suck one of them up and hit the moon with it. It's one of the hardest parts of the run, and nice, it won't hit me. But just because of how weird the angle is, it can be like hard to get used to. I mean, basically, you have to get yourself like lined up with. You do it again. Well, I guess if I missed it, it doesn't matter. I don't know what I'm doing. We don't know what we're doing. Kind of want it to be just to the right of where his shoulder is. Like there's a green. You see how like his green little shoulder there, and like his green little shoulder is in the, let's see if they just explain it all or not. I don't know if I can explain it. You see how his like little green shoulder is like pointed, like this shoulder or mirrored from the other side is like holding on to the vacuum there. You want it to be pointed a little right of that so that there's a little bit of space. Yeah, there's a little bit of space between the vacuum and his shoulder, and then it goes in there. That's what you're looking for. There's a little bit of room for air, obviously. You can hit the middle, you can hit other spots. But you want it to be like a little bit of space there. That was still touching it. So if you're still touching it, that will happen. Sometimes, occasionally, you'll get like one of those really lucky shots where it'll be right lined up with the moonshot right away. But basically, yeah, just make sure you got that angle lined up properly. Like this is still touching it, so you need to go a little bit to the right, and there you go. It's really not much either. You see how I didn't even go that much, and that's still like a little bit almost too far. Anyway, just a little bit to the right of where his shoulder is. Like, make sure that the end of the vacuum is pointed a little bit to the right, so that there's a little bit of space. Just a little bit of space. And then you just need to get this star here. Remember your vacuum cancel here, you can use it. Or you can just walk up and grab it if you don't want to right away. If you just want to walk up and get it, that's fine too. And then we're going to backtrack for a bit. We're going to go all the way back to back right of this hallway and back up to... Remember that shortcut key that I got earlier? If I didn't get that shortcut key, I would have to walk all the way up and then down like the courtyard from this point. But because I have the key, I can just walk straight up and go right to where Big Shot is, as opposed to walking all the way around. That's why it's better to do that. This is Big Shot here. You don't need Big Shot in this version either, or in this category version. I guess it's in this version too, technically, if you want to talk about that. But yeah, you don't need it in this category. And this room, the projector room, does not activate naturally like some of the rooms do. You have to actually activate the projector in order for it to start going. And all the ghosts in this room are invisible, as I'll show here. You can either hit this is pretty easy. Just keep in mind, if you hit it from the top, it doesn't do anything. You have to hit it from the side if you hit it. So, I mean, if you just do like a bottom, like you can see me just do like a bottom right notch of the controller stick here, just go like that. That's how I remember it, bottom right notch. I don't know why I'm pointing down, but it works, I guess. So just bottom right notch, that's how you can remember. So whatever that part in the controller, it's nice to have notches in GameCube controllers. Keeps the muscle memory fresh and easy. So bottom right, then you're gonna see this ghost spawn behind me. You see how you can't see it? Obviously, you'll know where they are originally, because the spawn points are the same every time the first time, just not the second time. So just keep spinning around and getting these guys the way you can. And then we have the double, which there will be one above and one below you. So you'll just want to get the bottom one here and spin it off like with the C-stick like we did before. And get the double. And then spin in the middle again and make sure the top two get together before you get the bottom one into the upper three. I need to show that example again, for sure. Because that one may be a little bit funky for people. Ooh, that was a nice double. Let me tell you. Okay. So up here, to make sure they get together, you can see the shadows of them. And then make sure you get grabbed by the third one and just shake them off with the C-stick and just suck them up. It can be a little weird with triples because they spread apart everywhere, but try your best just to pay attention to where they're going and you won't get broken off. In mansion vacuums pretty quick. So it's pretty likely you'll get it. Now after this you can either go, you can do one of two things. You can either, kind of preference really. I do right preferentially myself. I'll show why. You can either go by this double like I did to the right, or you can get this to the left. And be in front of the chest here that you need to open, and then try to find the boo. Which just happened to move there anyway. It's pretty nice. Then I can go get the item and get the boo. Only reason why I preference like the left side, so I can see what I showed that after this triple. Or I preference the right side, I think I said left. The reason why I preference this side is because there's the two objects are closer to you over here, and there's two objects really far away. So you kind of have these three objects that are not as bad as this one way over here. And this is really good RNG if you're over here, but then you have to walk all the way over here to get these. That's why I do it that way. But I mean, you can do it either way, and you can still get the early stuff too. You can also hit objects during cutscenes of like chess cutscene. You get really close to an object, you can hit an object too, which I can also explain here as well. If I get the triple. I'm gonna see how I hit the object during the cutscene and the boot came out. Saves you a little bit of time if I were having to find them later. And then you can just get this here. You can get the boo and then get the glove afterwards and get yourself to the door. Obviously it depends on your situation, what you're gonna do there. Depending on where the boo is, you may get the object first, you may not. And that's true for any boo room really. Say the boo's not here. Oh, now he's over there. So like for example, if I had that type of situation, I would get it first. And then I would already have it. And then you can get yourself back to this door so we can meal warp out. I guess I really don't need to use any type of save over there. Anyway, you need to meal warp on this one here. In Bank Shot's room, and you get yourself back to the beginning again. And we will get up to the boos up in this room, which is one of the biggest heavy RNG spots in the run. So it's pretty crazy. We'll use a save state here. This room you have this lamp, this book, it's like the books, I believe it is, and then the chair, and then this bottle up here is, get this fire. The 4 spots you have to deal with. What you kind of want to do is the lamp is kind of where you want to refer to the bad RNG because of how far away it is. You kind of want to go straight back and go straight into these spots. And if he's in there, obviously get him. If he's not, then you back up here and you get this, and then if he's not there, you can back up and hit this over here. If use another example for the reaction, just in case it's different the second time. Always, and you can always like stand here a little bit longer to make sure you get the back spawn like I did there too. Because it takes a little bit longer for the chair to spawn. Okay. I'm going on to the next part. So the twins room, this is a room we haven't been in yet. You need to move this mobile around. I believe it's like 3 times or 4 times circle. I don't even actually know. But you need to move it around in circles a few times. I think it's 3. To make that work. Did I not save that? I didn't. Huh. Well, we'll do this one more time then. That's another thing you can do. If you can react to it, you can get back and get more fire that's back there too. I'm not worried about that for like a beginner standpoint, really. I mean, it's not really a beginner type thing, but like that type of movement. Getting attacked and then having to bring him back. So, I don't know, make sure we save it this time, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so you need to like spin this around. Like, you want to be somewhere around this area that you can spin it all the way around. Not too far up near the crib because it tends to get locked in there. You kind of want to, I think you kind of want to have like a down right angle. I mean, it depends on how you take it. You can take it so many different ways. You can spin it the opposite direction. I just like doing it that way. I always am like pointed down right and just spin the controller stick in a circle. And it works. But whatever kind of fancies it for you. Yeah, see, that's kind of what you want there, and you can also like get beyond that. I wouldn't worry too much about getting beyond the twins, but if you get stuck, just try to get like a big circle going. That'll generally get it eventually. If your circles get too tight, what happens is you get like stuck in that circle and the thing just stays in one spot. If your circle is too tight from the wrong angle. Alright, so then the twins talk to you and say you want to play a game, and you just pick the first answer, yes. So basically you don't have to do anything but just keep pressing A and B basically. And you'll pick the right answer. Alright, so for the twins finding, what you can do in this game, which not every casual player knows this, is if you suck up, you can see where the twins are. You see how some of these boxes shake and some of them don't? The 2 that shake is where the twins are in. But like if there's one in here, oh, it actually changed when I walked out. I didn't know it would do that. That's interesting. I didn't know it would do that. It's an interesting thing I didn't know. Alright, so he's not in there, and then I always like move left and then right, and then kind of move this way. It kind of depends though, because what you can do is you can spray fire during the cutscene of the first ones. Like for example, if he was here, which he happens to be here, so that's a good example. I can like spray fire, and if the box shakes from the fire, then he's in there. And if I know that already, I'll know whether or not to go that way at all. And if I have that type of situation, I would just go down. And then around the other way instead. If I don't have that situation, then I would just do that. So for the twins, basically, you just want to suck up them off their things that they're on. He's on a little car. You want to get the one on the car first because he's running across the ground and would run you over. A little bit more dangerous to deal with, so you want to get him first. Then you want to suck this guy off the plane, just using the vacuum will get it off. And they'll just show their hearts afterwards. Then you have to deal with the 2 chairs, the cabinet, and then this upper left cabinet, and the dartboard are the 5 spots in this room. A good spot to be is right here. You can be by the chest. And you can read this pretty well if you prefer to do that. I think it's pretty good to read it from here, because what you can do is you can just vacuum and then activate all 3 spots, like I did there, and even though he wasn't in the one I hit before, he was in the other one. So it ended up working out. And then you open the chest like I did there during the cutscene. If you're in that situation, it varies on situation, but I think you get the idea. It's kind of consistent throughout the entire game that way. I just have to get used to the flow of it. Okay, so explain the spawn points. The spawn point is in the portrait here, or the spawn points. One is the portrait, one is the heart cabinet over here, and you have 2 spawn points in here. Actually, I think it's 3 spawn points in here. Actually, you have the chair and the table, don't you? And you have the crib. So you have to go. If you don't get any flashes when you go in, you just can go right to the table. You just kind of have to react to what you don't get and just kind of like go to the next spot. Being aware of what spots and where to look, that's just experience from the game. It's kind of hard to like tell you how to think like that right away. I can, but like you're just not gonna think of it right away. You're gonna be thinking about too much stuff when you're first running the game, you know? Alright, so for Lydia, this is one of the tech skips that's consistent in this game. You always want to go pull this sheet half off. And that's a spawn point there for the boo. Because you always want to like be over here so that it spawns that just in case he's in there. He also can be in the bed, or on the right, or in this thing here. The mirror of Lydia. But he moved back in here. If that happens, just hit this again. And just make sure you get the boo before you get the cloth here. And you suck it up like so. And I guess I didn't save that, that's okay, I can react to this again. So pay attention to that cloth, make sure you get it half off. Holding the L button helps there a lot. As well, because you don't want to pull it back out again or have to use another vacuum cancel. Just make sure you get the boo before the cloth, that was close. Anyway, just make sure you get the boo before the cloth. Otherwise you end up with the tech skip and this is a laggy, or non-tech skip and this is quite a laggy room and it's very bad. But anyway, you want to mirror warp your way out of here, so you use Lydia's mirror warp, or mirror, to do it. And then yeah, you're ready to roll. And I think I'll stop that there because we have Molossus coming, so that's the beginning, or most of the meat of Area 3. We'll get to the next part later. And thanks for watching. We shall continue the Area 3 and Luigi's Mansion Out of Bounds tutorial. See you guys around.